Hello and welcome. ISRO has got a new boss, Dr. V. Narayanan, rocket scientist, someone who's been credited for bringing in a technology that for a very long time India was actually denied. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2025, ISRO has a lot more lined up. Joining me is Dr. V. Narayanan. Thank you very much, Dr. Narayanan. This, after all, happens to be your first interview. So amidst all the meetings that you've had, thank you very much for taking out the time. Let me straight away begin by asking you, you joined ISRO at a time when it was considered to be one of the most difficult period that ISRO has actually gone through. In just about a few years after you joined, sanctions were actually brought in, preventing India getting a technology that you played a pivotal role in developing. Your journey within ISRO, sir.
I joined in ISRO in the year 1984, February. And I joined in a very much junior position, and initially I was given the opportunity to work in the sounding rockets and augmented satellite launch vehicle, mainly in the solid propulsion area, ablative nozzle systems area specifically. Then after few years I went for my M.Tech in cryogenic engineering, IIT Kharagpur. Then moved from Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, where I joined initially, to the Liquid Propulsion System Center. There I was given the opportunity to work in the cryogenic propulsion area. In fact, that is the time frame the cryogenic activity was just started in an experimental basis.
Dr. Narayanan, we are talking about a time, especially during that phase when cryogenic technology was extremely crucial, and that being denied by the United States of America, sanctions being brought in. Tell us, what was it like? Because somewhere down the line, a determination that the ISRO had, that we will develop it all by ourselves. We will not perhaps depend so much on a different country altogether. How difficult was that very period when you were developing? As I understand, your career transition also in sync with what ISRO wanted.
No, in fact, most of you may be knowing, the GSLV Mark II vehicle was configured with a cryogenic upper stage, cryogenic propulsion system, which uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen as the propellant combination. So initially we thought we will get some technology from other countries, but then a MOU was signed with then USSR. As per that contract, we were supposed to get few hardware, then the technology for realizing in India. But then due to geopolitical reason, the technology, manufacturing technology transfer could not take place, and it was in the year 1995, Government of India gave approval for us to go ahead with our own indigenous development. So we took the same specification of the cryogenic upper stage, which initially supplied by Russia, for initial hardware supplied by Russia. Then we started our own development, and it took, in fact, from 1995 we went for the first flight somewhere in 2010. And GSLV D3 we had the first flight. The journey was so exciting, interesting, because we faced lot of setbacks. Right. When we in the process of realization, so many hurdles were there in terms of failures, but we do not take it as failures. It was the phase of learning, tremendous learning, and we went for a flight into 2010, and 2010 the GSLV D3 flight with the first indigenous cryogenic stage could not go through well. In fact, the entire system started well, but then it could not go through well. Then we had to undergo a thorough review process of entire understanding, and we had to do lot of tests, including high altitude tests, lot of things we had to do. Then we had the first successful flight of that system in 2014.
Okay. Can I ask you this, that within a few years of you being in ISRO, in 1992 we faced one of the biggest setback. As a rocket scientist, do you believe that had that not happened, had the episode of 1992 not happened, perhaps ISRO would have covered a huge ground and we would have been miles ahead compared to several other foreign space agencies?
I do not think so. Say this type of development work, it takes its own time. It is not that few years you cannot get this, then every country would have got. Today we are only sixth country in the world which is having this complex and high performance technology. So it takes its own definite time, but surely if we would have got support, handhold from abroad, then we would have saved a lot of time.
Can I also then ask you, in terms of some of the recent projects where you have actually worked, and there is a lot of curiosity today, perhaps ISRO is one of the most searched words if you actually go on Google also. In fact, when I was speaking to some of my viewers and I was saying that I will be interviewing you, there are a lot of questions they had a lot of curiosity. And post Chandrayaan 3, of course, that entire curiosity has gone up. I want to first ask, the latest experiment that was done with regards to space docking, and it was complex. We are now part of the elite club, 4th country to do so, but many would be asking, what's the big deal about it?
No, let me explain in a very ordinary language. Please understand, when two vehicles in the ground are moving with 100 km/h speed, and if you are to dock one object to another one within millimeter, micrometer level of accuracy, you can understand two buses are moving and you have to dock, and one is moving, both are moving with a near equivalent relative velocity. In orientation and other thing, you have to how perfectly you have to go and dock, that itself will be difficult. Now here we are talking about two satellites moving in a orbit, in the low earth orbit, with a velocity of 28,400 km/h velocity. Two are moving, of course relative velocity is less. Now in all the three planes you have to have a perfect match, then only it can go and dock. For that lot of things are required. Number one, the control systems, inertial systems, and then lot of sensors, then the propulsion system, then the measurement of the entire orientation. Perfectly you have to measure, otherwise you cannot even reorient and go and dock. So it is a very, very complex process of doing, otherwise every country would have done,
right.
And then it is a very, very involved, challenging.
Where do we stand now, and what is it that we have accomplished, and how far will that push much of our missions that are coming? We are talking about lunar bases, we are talking about, there are talks of colonization of the Mars that has been spoken by a few gentlemen in the United States of America. I will come to that later, but with this, what big achievement are we really talking about?
Say when we talk about, for example, let me give one example, then you can understand. Take our Chandrayaan 4 mission, which is already approved by Honorable Prime Minister of India. The total mass of the system is something around 9,000 plus kg, against the Chandrayaan 3 is only 4,000 kg. Now we do not have that big rocket to lift off the entire mass for 9,000 kg to not low earth orbit, GTO. GTO is 9,000 kg, that means something around 16,000 kg to low earth orbit equivalent. We do not have that big rocket. So we are planning to take in 2 rockets, and once you take, then this has to be assembled in the space. So docked, again it will go to moon, then there will be system which will be separating and landing on moon, take sample, come back, again it has to get docked, then you have to move back, again it has to be separated, and say this docking undocking process is a mandatory requirement. And similarly, when you talk about future programs, for example space station building, BAS building, if you are having a very big rocket, nobody will do that, entire thing can be lifted at a time, but we cannot do that. We have to take small modules and go and assemble. So this is a forerunner, this experiment is a forerunner for this type of program, also for future program.
Also, is it because when I spoke to your predecessor previously, he largely spoke about the fact that there is one aspect that we need to look at, that is the exosolar areas also, which perhaps there is a lot of mystery behind it, and you cannot do it while you are perhaps operating from the earth. You need a mid base, and that is the reason why perhaps moon is being considered as one. That is why your lunar base comes into the picture. How do you really see all of this really panning out in the years to come? Where do you think India is now positioned, particularly to look at these kind of missions?
No, India in fact I will tell you, with respect to satellite technology or launch vehicle technology, we started from a very humble beginning, but today we are highly matured. But then when you talk about this future programs like interplanetary missions and going to exoplanets, you have to have this technology. This is a mandatory requirement.
So, we have achieved that aspect.
So, we have achieved in a very big way. In fact, it is a small experiment, but then perfectly we have docked. So, that is a major achievement, and India is one among fourth country having that so complex technologies. Even all the other developed countries, those spacefaring nations, they are really so much appreciating us. You know, there is a statement, strength only respects strength. So, that is the place.
What is that one thing that perhaps your colleagues outside, your counterparts outside must have told you, because you have been looking after a launch vehicle which is the most reliable across the globe, so much so various other agencies have actually sent their payload using the launch vehicle. What is that one thing that you will always remember about your counterparts telling you about the missions that we have performed?
No, I can tell you one example, then it will be understandable. You know, we had a Mars orbiter mission. That Mars orbiter mission, total distance what we have to travel is from Earth something around 68 crore kilometer we have to travel. Yeah. Even if you move with a error of 0.1 degree error, we cannot reach Mars, we will go some other place. And we have gone perfectly, and India is the first country which has successfully accomplished that mission. Of course, we have taken lot of lessons from other countries, but we are the first country. Not only that, Honorable Prime Minister used to say this was a low cost mission. In fact, the entire travel, whatever money expend per kilometer, if you calculate, it is less than auto fare.
So, do you all say this while you are working, that you have to keep it, the cost is a major aspect when you are working?
See, our country, we have to be really very, very careful. See, cost is a really important aspect. See, we cannot spend luxurious way. With the available budget, we have to execute all these missions very smart and intelligent way. And here, this is the place, in fact, the entire our counterparts, they were surprised to see how first attempt India has accomplished, that too a low cost mission. They were so surprised, and we were so happy, because we used developed modules, and we did a entire smart mission planning. Of course, some support we have taken from other countries, but then today when I look back, we are second to none, as Sarabhai in his vision statement he has made. Couple of places we are not second to, we are second to none.
What is in store for us in 2025? A lot of people are asking about Gaganyaan. There is a slight delay, as we understand, the G1 mission that we are really looking at. But in your understanding, where do we stand right now? How far have we achieved, and by when are you looking at perhaps the first mission to take off?
Say right now, the Gaganyaan mission, I will not say there is a delay. Of course, with respect to original target, there are some delays, there are reasons for that. But it is a totally a new technology development. Number one, the vehicle has to be human rated. Human rating means you have to improve the redundancies, you have to improve the reliability, you have to demonstrate lot of tests. You know, any test there is a setback, then there will be lot of panic. So, we cannot have. So, go very carefully set by set, complete the entire qualification. With respect to vehicle, I will say we have completed. I will say that all the system, we have almost completed the human rating. Now, second development is orbital module, where the human being has to be taken. That is a totally a new game, and right now we are in the process of realizing the hardware. Then third thing is crew escape system. Say, you know, the first time we are interfacing, so far we are handling only hardware and software. Now, human being is into the loop. So, their safety is very, very paramount important.
So, does the Sunita Williams episode bring in some sort of concern, or it's completely different?
This space program, we take all the lessons, other countries, whatever is there, we take the lessons. Now, completely, let me tell, you take for example that crew escape system. And in case of anything happens when the crew is inside, we should save them, you know. So, this development and lot of test and qualification has to be done. Then if people have to be there, the environmental control and safety system, which maintains the required pressure, required temperature, the carbon dioxide has to be kept within the levels, and relative humidity has to be maintained, and all those things. It is a totally new development, and then the safety of the crew is very, very important. So, lot of new developments are there, and right now I can tell for the first mission, before sending the actual our own astronauts, we have targeted to send 3 uncrewed missions.
Okay.
So, right now the first uncrewed mission related activity, rather that vehicle stacking activity has started in Sriharikota, but then all of the developments are going concurrently, and I will come back. If you ask me the date and other thing, honestly speaking, I have taken charge only few days back. What I will do is, I will have a detailed review, discussion, and have a review with our elders, seniors, and technical review, then take a full assessment, and of course take Honorable Prime Minister also into confidence, and I will come back.
There are some very exciting missions that are lined up, already announced missions, for instance the mission to Venus. How is it all going right now? In terms of 2025, what are we really looking at?
Prime Minister has given approval for Venus mission, Chandrayaan 4 mission, and a new rocket called NGLV, next generation launcher. The capability of the rocket is almost 1000 times of our first rocket SLV-3. Okay. SLV-3 only for capability is 40 kg, 35 to 40 kg to low Earth orbit. This has to carry 30,000 kg to low Earth orbit. For that we have to develop new propulsion systems, and 9 it is going to be, this vehicle is having 3 stages. First stage will have 9 engines, locksmith engine clustered way it has to work. Second stage there will be 2 engines, upper stage is a cryo stage, there will be solid boosters. So, this vehicle has to be developed. Then of course Chandrayaan 4, that approval has come, and all these new things, you know, the initial phase itself we have to go exponentially, we have to move fast. So, all works has to be done, and with the team available, the outstanding team available, I think we will be in a position to do whatever we have given the commitment.
2 big projects that have really looked at Aditya L1 and the Chandrayaan 3. What are the big things that we have really been able to take over from there?
Say for example Chandrayaan 3, and we have to go and soft a object. The satellite was rotating on August 23rd with the 6077 km per hour. That satellite has to be brought to near rest in 19 minutes time frame. It is 8 times of the aircraft velocity the satellite is rotating, you have to bring, and if the velocity at the time of landing is more than 3 meter per second, it will be a hard landing. So, you have to bring very smart and intelligent way you have to bring, and we have succeeded. Now, take Aditya L1. Aditya L1 first time.
But any big takeaways from the scientific research that has been done?
Takeaways. For example, we have found a lot of number of minerals and seismic activity. We had a system.
The moonquakes.
So, yeah, seismic activity equivalent to earthquake. We have studied couple of places there are activities. Then thermal profile on the surface to almost 80 centimeter down, 8 centimeter down. Yes, the temperature is varying, that we have measured. Then the electron clouds we have measured. So much scientific.
And what about L1?
Everything we have donated to the scientific community. Now take Aditya L1. Here, number 1, the mission management taking almost 15 lakh kilometer and perfectly capturing in the L1 orbit. That itself is a challenge, and January 6th we have accomplished, and India is the 4th country which is having a satellite to study the sun. In fact, we have got about sun, lot of discovery has been done.
Is there something very interesting that you believe that you can share with the people of this country?
No, lot of scientific. In fact, we have released the data itself. I will come back further after the complete review process. I will come back.
I need to ask you this because we are talking about a different operation time. Elon Musk, how do you really look at him and the kind of competition that he's brought into the space program? India obviously has had an arrangement with SpaceX. His statements, colonization of the Mars, how do you really look at all of the statements that he has made and Elon Musk's competitiveness that he has brought into the space programs?
Oh, I have got great respect to him because he has brought a lot of things inside, including the recovery, All these things he has brought, I have got great respect for him. But I want to tell, India is a country, our space program is not, we are not going to compete with anybody.
Okay.
We are very clear, our program is meant for serving our country. Okay. And if you see the past, we have started the human spaceflight program just a few years back. Initially when we started, our objective was to serve the country in telecommunication, teleeducation, telemedicine, then disaster warning and management, then earth observation, and lot of applications, and ocean monitoring, all those things. So at that point of time we are not concentrated. But now we have started. Now space docking experiment, 10 years back or 20 years back we were not that keen. Today, yes, it is the need of the hour. When you talk about huge program, it is required. So we don't compete with anybody, because our program with the budget, what our government is giving, within the government constraints, Honorable Prime Minister is so much supporting, but then it has to serve the common man of this country. And of course, scientific discovery has to come and lot of things has to happen. So, in nutshell to this question, I respect Elon Musk. Yes, he is a different person with a great thing. Say, slowly, I can understand his capability. And India is, we are putting strong foundation. When you move, say 20 years back, cryo development, when you look, we were not even, we were very, very, maybe in the 10th standard level. Today, we have reached a maturity level. And like that, recently, the third C-32 stage successfully demonstrated. Now take spacecraft technology. 1975, we are looking at other country.
Right.
Today, Honorable Prime Minister, when he took over as the Prime Ministership, we were given a direction to conceive a rocket, satellite, built, launch using our own rocket, that is SARC satellite, we have donated. That is the place we stand. So, you go every baby step very gradually, with a strong foundation, move forward and contribute for the growth of this nation and serve the citizens of this country. That is what is our objective.
I'll end this interview by just asking you a final question. How safe are we in the space world? Because there is a space war. Let's understand, in the volatile situation that we are in, conflict zones that are operating right now, the space becomes a huge race that is going on. Dr. Narayanan, how safe are we, and how would you perhaps lay your years to come in ISRO as the chairman? That's the final question to you.
Say, with respect to the space related activities, we are doing whatever is required. I cannot reveal everything, whatever is required to be in the safe level. That we are doing. Whatever is essentially required, we are doing. Because huge investment is made and we have built the organization over 62 years. And today, we are having our own satellites, own rockets, and we are going for all the programs. And Honorable Prime Minister has given a clear vision and direction by 2040, 2047 in terms of capability, satellite technology, application, or rocket, or space station, or human spaceflight program. I think we will not be second to none. So, we are going to contribute for making this country as a developed country as per the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. And the roadmap is very clear, his guideline is very, very clear, and the entire organization is a motivated organization. With that, we will be in a position to do the perfect and required job for making our space program a very vibrant, application-oriented, citizen-centric program, and the space will really contribute towards the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister for making this country as a developed country before we celebrate 100 years of independence.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. V. Narayanan, and on behalf of all the viewers of Republic TV who've supported you, and we can only tell you this, that we'll stand by you, next to you, in all your endeavors as the chief of the ISRO. That was Dr. V. Narayanan, his first interview after taking over as the ISRO chairman, second to none. Perhaps summarizes what ISRO today stands for. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. Thank you.